I have today a guest on my channel, I guess on my live stream, Donovan. So, Donovan is a client of mine, former client of mine, and I've been talking about fractional work. I've been talking about like personal branding. I've been talking about how to navigate tech space right now, because what is happening right now is confusing. So Donovan is actually we're gonna actually chat about what Donovan is doing, and what we've been working together, and how after us working together, how he actually involved and what he's actually doing. And because if you're watching my videos or live streams or looking at my posts and you're thinking like, well, this is good and dandy, but what is actual living example looks like? How do I adjust in tech as a consultant, as a provider, as a mentor, as a coach, whatever it is you're gonna pivot and choose. So this video is absolutely for you, so you can figure out how like what good looks like for you. And also, this is a part of my work that I'm super proud of, because Donovan is a past client of mine. We worked together in Donovan 2023, 2024, something like
Yes.
that, right?
Yeah, that
So
sounds about right.
years ago, and Donovan was able to actually take what he learned from working with me and actually multiply it and pivot and change. And like this is something like every time I see his post, every time I see that he's doing something exciting, I'm super proud of him. So, Donovan, uh, you the population that I'm talking to, majority of them are tech professionals, majority of them are individual contributors, front-end developers, mobile developers, maybe some back-end developers, because like I think what is happening right now in the industry like kind of affects everybody at the large scale. But you were front-end developer in the past, right?
Yep, I was.
And so can you kind of walk us through like what happened, right? Like you were front end development.
Hmm.
I remember when we started working together, you were actually focusing on mentoring other people to how to break into like front end development, maybe from other careers, maybe from other specialties. But then what happened? So walk us through kind of like the timeline, the changes that you personally have seen and experienced.
Sure. So it started around early 2024. I was introduced to ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT at the time wasn't as popular, well known as it is today.
Hmm.
And I remember playing around with it and was really blown away about its capabilities. At the time, it still was struggling with some answers and a lot of stuff was incorrect. But I thought to myself, this is going to be huge. If ChatGPT improves like dramatically, like this is going to be huge. And I predicted that this could potentially not replace web developers, but accelerate the coding aspect of coding, right? And so I leaned into it. I was curious, and I felt more like a tool than anything. And so I leaned into it. I taught myself how to use ChatGPT. I follow under industry leaders, and then fast forward that same year, about fall 2024. Coming back from my vacation to Mexico with my best friend, I got this mysterious email from my employer, right? And
Hmm.
I was hit with the layoff alongside maybe 10 or 11 other developers at the same company. And so it was interesting because I never experienced this before. I was taken back, and I heard about the news about the layoffs and how tech was just being flipped upside down, and most of the stuff was pointing towards AI, which seems plausible, right? And so that made me to think about things and reflect on things on how I'm going to move. And doing my research and doing a deep analysis of my background, I decided to lean in more towards AI, while other
Hmm.
developers and other people were, cursing at AI and swearing off AI. I just leaned into it. I was like, I know this potentially affected my job, but I see the potential here. There's something here that I need to like learn and grab. I think we're just going through a new phase and people need to be
Hmm.
adaptable because to be honest, we're in the IT industry and the IT industry change all the time. And so you just have to like
Yeah.
go with the move with the changes essentially.
Yeah, and you're right because here recently, right? Like you were talking about 2024 here recent like this at the end of December, right? I kind of like decided to do a little bit of a cash injection in my business and think, well, like I do have this amazing skill like doing tech aside from like coaching, aside of mental health and things like that. Um and I was actually quite open to like seeing what is available as a like consulting work too. And consulting work can be working, and we're going to talk about consulting work a little bit further in this episode. But I was lucky enough to land pretty big consulting gig with a consulting firm, and I it it was so like what I like about consulting firms that they actually handle the heavy lifting of the paperwork when you work with like big names companies like I don't know Google, Netflix, Meta, like Amazon, you name it. And when I was there, it was so interesting, and it's not in particular like company, it's like everywhere, right? When I talk to like other developers, because like it's also like it's been a while. Like, I was laid off in 2023 and I started my business, and like, you know what, this is what I'm doing. Like tech is like all over the place, but what I notice is that like yes, AI is there, and AI um actually could write way better code than I ever could. And it actually what really was fascinating for me is just that remember back in old days when the code wasn't compiling, we are Googling the error,
Hmm.
we are Googling
Yep.
why it's not working, and we spent the entire day. Now
Yep.
Cloud Code or Kiro or Codex,
Hmm.
you just say, hey, like I see this error, or with a command line, because I was operating this through command line, and it had like instant ink access to my like entire system.
Hmm.
It was like, oh, I see that the compilation error. Like, let me run the code again. Like, oh, I see the issue now, and the issue was like fixed in seconds, and it was so curious for me and interesting. Like, okay, that can write code, but like what about PRs? Because and also like what is interesting, and I think this is what a lot what happening in companies. It's kind of like everybody like nobody is saying the quiet part out loud. Everybody is using it, everybody is submitting PR, but everybody is pretending that they wrote the code themselves. So, and when they have PR comments, they come back and say, "Hey, like I have this like comment from my PR. How can we fix it?" But no, but also what you said, like developers like swearing and cussing at an AI. I also have seen a lot of like good number of my colleagues who were super anxious, super dissatisfied, because like they're excellent developers. They write code really well, and they were actually behind sometimes on the project because of the rigidity. Like, hey, like no, AI is not listening to me. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's not writing the feature how it's supposed to be done, and like that affect like because now like for our listeners and people who are watching, this is essential. Now the layoffs, right? because there's a marketing threat that AI can do everything, and you don't have to have as many people, right? It's number one. Number two is that now fewer people are expected to do more work. For example, for like my responsibility, I was expected to like kind of do it all, right? Like probably aside from backend development, but iOS, Android, and if needs to be like something on the front end, if there was a website. So it was like, hey, you have the tools, you got to do it all, you have to figure it out. And PRs are going actually really fast. And with PRs, like there was the whole another thing. It was kind of slower, but slower not because of the quality of the code. I think the slower because of the resistance, right? Like, and people are busy when people are producing 19 PRs like per, like, I don't know, like per day, like that is absolutely insane. So now, kind of like shifting forward. This is what
Mhm.
I like. This is what I am seeing. Front end development roles are definitely subsided. Like we don't see that many options anymore. And if you just got into tech and maybe you just had your first role, or maybe even if you're a senior individual contributor, maybe you're quite like seasoned software engineer, you probably see that a lot of those jobs, they're either on the short-term contracting gigs, or like if you look for on Dice, it's just not there anymore. So speaking like of fractional work and consulting, so you kind of started like mentoring, but then you mentioned that you were doing speaking engagements and you were doing like kind of fractional consulting work. What it actually looks like. So
Yeah.
how somebody, because here's the interesting phenomena. Tech is not going anywhere. Tech is actually advancing quite a bit. It's not like
Hmm.
that we are back to flip phones, we're back to yellow pages, we're back to like magazines where we're finding information. No, like it's actually advancing quite a bit, but the jobs are declining like quite significantly, which is like in the US market specifically, which kind of like doesn't make sense. But small businesses need AI, or need experts who can do like very trivial things like mobile app, website, database, like things like that. So can you walk us through like what it actually looks like in practicality, like
Hmm.
when somebody has technical skills, how they can do like fractional work or consulting?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I do want to preface by saying that my first business, Code Connect Mentoring, with the advent of how the tech market is going and how it is currently with the jobs and the layoffs and people not getting hired as front-end developers and sometimes full stack developers, I decided to sunset that business because tech was shifting so rapidly and I didn't have the confidence to take someone's money, mentor them, and they can't find a job. That was sit on my conscience. I care about my mentees. I want to see my mentees succeed. And so I just wasn't comfortable with doing that anymore. Now, however, I have gotten a few DM messages from on LinkedIn about people who are interested in web development. There are some jobs out there. It's very few and far between, as you said before. And so I give the best advice I can when it comes to that. So that's just something that I wanted to highlight and kind of show the shift of how I shifted forward. So I said to myself, okay, well, if I'm not doing mentoring anymore in web development, I got to shift to something else. And so I got a technical background. I'm learning AI. What is the market asking for? And so I was ended up to do consulting through a colleague friend of mine who got me this consulting gig. And so I was doing tech consulting, and it was a little strange at first because I was so used to being a software developer and writing code and pushing PRs that I didn't know if I would like it, but I ended up liking it quite a bit because I've been teaching and mentoring so much lately that it became a second muscle to me, and it's pretty much tapping into that, but it's more so working with smaller businesses. It's like you're educating smaller businesses instead of just a typical person that wants software development help. So my advice for people who are getting into the space, there is a way. There are some roles out there, but I would advocate towards probably get into some freelancing jobs. There's plenty of freelancing platforms out there that you can freelance and do work for. And also using those AI tools is okay. Use those AI tools to make your work a little bit more adaptable, more faster because AI is here. It's not going anywhere. It's better to at least try to get on that train and just learn AI and be able to use it, but don't rely on it as a crutch. Just be able to utilize it where you see fit, and I think that can get you far.
Yeah. So I kind of want to break it down for our listeners or like software engineers or people who are looking at this market and like, okay, but like, so do I just go to freelancing websites like post my profile and that's it. So this is the hidden like, and I really hate the word hidden job market because it's not hidden. It's just not on Dice. It's just not really typically on Indeed. And it's sometimes on LinkedIn, but we have um individual, not individual contributors. We have small businesses.
Hmm.
Let's say we have a dentist, right? Like who just opened their website or their business. They need a website. Or maybe they have a website and it is not up to par. We have a therapist, and I work with therapists quite like intimately with when it comes to like business coaching. Um and they need a website, right?
Hmm.
And you you might say that like, okay, but there is a Squarespace, there's a lot of tools that they can utilize. But when you look at the business owner, right? Maybe at the beginning stages when they just open their practice, they can probably put something together. They can probably chat GPT their like copy or write their copy the way they can, and that job and that website can do like like a decent job, right? But when we talk about business owners who are not at the beginning stages, they're making probably $500,000 to $1 million and more per year. Like, and they're still small businesses, like again, therapists, dentistry, medical private practices, small offices. And they at some point they don't have the time capacity and energy to dive into technical details. So, what they're looking for, they're not looking for just like a website designer. They're looking for, and this is the opportunity for you to learn skills, right? They're looking for a person who can come in, put fairly decent copy on the website, because the website without decent copy is nothing. They're
Hmm.
looking for people like person, maybe like operate their email list, right? For example, they do have at that point email list. They may be looking for a person who can operate with data, like, okay, uh let me go through my email list and reactivate my email list, and maybe like analyze the open rate um quality, and see like who of my subscribers are like not very active, and create an automatic job to, like, let's say, create an email campaign, right? And of course, like, you might work with another like copywriter for emails, and you are actually doing the job of like automating things. You might be like also like other businesses looking for automation work. When I say automation work, what it means, it's like, let's say somebody comes to your door, like books appointment, they want automatically them to get like email notification. You get email notification, send them onboarding documentation like for doctors and therapists, like that's essential. Connect their website with existing EHR, like electronic clinical records. What else? They're looking for, like, if they're doing a lot of marketing, they're looking for ways to like automate marketing, and not just automate marketing. It's not like posting things on repeat, but actually like maybe do analysis, right? Like data analysis. Let's say they post their link for their website on different platforms, on LinkedIn, on this day, on Instagram, link in the bio on that day, or link in the stories on Instagram. And they need to collect data and see the numbers where people open their click on their website, how like on the website itself, right? Analytics, like where people drop off, and they like you have to communicate that to the business owner, like, hey, looks like people click on the sign up, but they drop off like after this portion of the page. And that's data, because that's like that will inform their marketing. And again, this is kind of like specialized roles, and they're
Hmm.
not really advertised. It is very much relationship based. Like you have to know the who, and you have to create relationship. You have to put yourself out there. But
Yep.
like to bring everything together, a business, like for example, I'm a business owner myself. I opened this year, I opened my private practice as a hypnotherapist.
Hmm.
I know those kind of things. And like this, like again, like when somebody like without like the financial like back end like opens some practice, maybe they need like a few years to ramp up, right? And like I do have technical skills, but at some point, right, when my practice is a more solid like stage, right, as a private practice owner, I don't want to build my own website. I don't want to do my own automation. I want to hire a specialist who will know exactly how my industry works, how my automation works, know the existing laws, like in psychotherapy space, in hypnotherapy space, and I'm expanding to addiction counseling, how like HIPAA compliant work actually works, right? Because you can automate everything. Certain things like you just can't do, like certain data you just can't collect because of the HIPAA, right? And law
Hmm.
compliance. So for our listeners, this is like this is the hidden job market. They don't have a lot of budget for Dice, Indeed, even LinkedIn job posting most of the time. And it's just a post like, hey, I'm looking for web designer. I'm looking for person who can automate my email list. I'm hiring for X, Y, and Z. I'm hiring for this. I'm hiring for that. And you that's the job market.
Hmm.
So, from your like kind of experience, like when you like, can you maybe like give one example how you personally find those opportunities, right?
Hmm.
Or how those opportunities find you? Because I'm sure for some of the people, it's just like, okay, what do I need to do? Do I need to become an influencer? Do I need to like pitch slap or like send DMs? If you're not familiar with the term pitch slap, it's just send DMs to a bunch of business owners and say, hey, do you need a website? Do you need a website? Do I need a website?
Hmm.
Like, what does it look like for you
Sure.
specifically?
Yeah. I want to preface also by saying I think nowadays, especially in IT, we're living. I was talking to a colleague and we was discussing the state of the IT market, and especially when it comes to development, web developers, those type of roles, even designers. I believe we're living in what we called a gig economy, where now it's more on a project by project basis. It's getting pushed more that people are starting their own firms, their own businesses, their own side hustles, doing freelance and doing gig based work. And so that's pretty much kind of where I lie right now is just get doing gigs. And how I find those gigs, they actually pretty much find me, right? Because I build such a rich uh, personal brand online through social media. I share what I've learned. I share the things that I'm doing, the different conferences, the speaking engagements, the teaching, the mentoring on the side. I share all of my wins, and people just gravitate towards that and just present opportunities to me, asking, "Hey, would you like to teach for this? How much would you charge? Or can you help me build this? How much would you charge me for this?" And so I would say personally, like having such a rich personal brand is your ticket to everything. And having such a rich network that people know you, they know you do good work. And if you do something like a freebie for people, they're gonna remember that. They're gonna say like, "Oh, this person really helped me." I know this guy that's looking for a web developer. Let me refer him to this person because he was really nice and he helped me. And so those are like some of the key things that you can do to amplify yourself, like make noise online, get out there, don't be self-conscious, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. We're all human at the end of the day, and we're all learning. And I think that's now with the amplification of AI, human connection matters more than what you perceive to be. Like it's because there's so much AI posting, or as they say, AI slop out there
Mhm.
right now. Human connections and being a human being and connecting with someone on an interpersonal level is valuable. So I would just say get out there, post, whether it be LinkedIn, whether it be Instagram, whether it be TikTok, whether it be YouTube, like post, get your stuff out there, share what you do, share your wins, share your losses, and build those relationships. Get in the comments, comment to people, and I promise you, you're gonna find a world of various fruitful opportunities.
Yes. And like in one of my videos, I said that personal branding and marketing, it is a new skill.
Hmm.
Communication is a new skill, right? Like, yeah, like you spend a lot of time and effort to learn web development, maybe mobile development, how to write code. But like tech, in my opinion, this is something that I've witnessed for 10 years, notoriously really bad at building relationship, at
Hmm.
communication. Developers who are cussing AI right now, they don't know how to talk to people. And that's why AI is not able to understand them. And if you're that developer who like think, well, like this AI is never work, I would like to you, I lovingly invite you to actually do retrospective. Like maybe it is my communication skills and personal branding. And one thing about personal branding, it can be online and it should be online, but it
Hmm.
also in person too. Like because like I would not put you into like this big tech influencers category, right? You are
No.
not like beating off the chart on the YouTube, on LinkedIn, and like have like thousands of millions followers. And by the way, people who have thousands and millions of followers, it doesn't mean that their bank account reflects their amount of followers. It's just,
Hmm.
they're just good at social media. Like
Right.
that's also important. So now I th this in this season, I deliberately decided to offer help for software engineers, for tech professionals to build personal brand, to learn marketing that I learned from business experts like way back in the days when I started my business and that like helped me to build my business. The ways how to find those people and do like no pitch slap marketing and relationship based and identity marketing. So and I know we worked together like way back in the days, and like
Hmm.
that is your foundation how you run business now. So
Hmm.
from your experience, and I know we like you've been on my channel before. What is your experience like working with me? So what was like, what did you like about it? And like what was it like?
Yeah, I thought it was great. It definitely, you definitely identified some pain points that I needed to work on. One of the things I was self-conscious of posting on LinkedIn for a while. Like I will make posts here and there, but your guidance really amplified to where I am now. Like I don't have millions of subscribers, but I have key points where people are remembering me, people are seeing my face, people are approaching me, I'm getting more opportunities. And so that was the one thing where I just didn't know how to amplify that because I was on other platforms such as I can't remember this. This is one mentor platform, and I just did. I made one
Mhm.
post, and I'm like, okay, this is not work. This is not working. Maybe I'm not doing it right, or maybe I'm just not that good. And so I was second guessing myself on a lot of things. But when we had work together, you helped me to just guide me out of that like dark forest of like, okay, I don't know where up and down is. And what it is was the positioning, right? I was able to, I think one of you got me into onto LinkedIn Lives. I don't do them anymore, unfortunately, because I've been so busy with clients, but I want to get back to them, but that's not nor here or there. But I was able to land my first client after my LinkedIn Live. A gentleman who's a teacher or was a teacher looking to get into web development. That was my first client, and I was just so shocked. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is great. And I was so nervous on my first LinkedIn Live, but I did well enough to attract that client, and I was able to work with him for a little over 7 months, right? And so, yeah, it was just your teachings definitely had help, and then connecting with the other members within your community that were also small businesses, learning from them, and then also I think you hired me for one of your I think group sessions where you couldn't make it. I think you were going out of town for something, and then you led me to do it, and you paid me for that. And so I thought that was really awesome. So it's just the whole relationship building, me being one of your, I guess, top clients to work with, which I'm flattered. I learned a lot from you, and I do appreciate your teachings. And I was able to carry this into my current consulting gigs that I do.
Yeah, and by the way, my program promise is not that I will hire you to teach in my program. Like you kind of have to be at Donovan like level, okay? Like, but I really appreciate that, and for like listeners out there, like yeah, like if like this is just a new skill set, right? Like communication, because also like I see the pain point in communication. I see the pain point in relationship marketing, how to build healthy relationship outside of like corporate, because in corporate it's a lot of plain pretend. In business it's like it's a really real game. It's like, hey, like what can you like, how can you help me, or like what. And it's a lot of like empathy marketing, and when I say empathy marketing, it's like instead of like thinking, well, like, but how, like, can this person pay, or like how much money do I make, and like who will pay me for this, versus like, okay, where people are actually hurting right now, what businesses actually need my services that I can actually deliver, and communicate it so precisely well, so people can come to you. And in practicality, as you said, one of the tools that I teach in is really powerful, like live streams on either LinkedIn Live or Instagram or YouTube. Live stream is still the case, right? If
Mhm.
this is something that I learned from my mentors, how like two of my mentors, we were specifically precisely working on the framework, because going live, it's not just going live and talking to people or talking at people, or um estimating success. Okay, like I'm live, but nobody is on my live stream. Like, does it fail? No, it doesn't fail because a lot of people will rewatch your replay and
Yep.
come from replay because we all busy, we all juggling thousand things and
Hmm.
um you can you can do live streams in a lot of different ways, and this is something that I specifically teach. But these are the skills that, like, for example, what I'm doing, it's also empathy model, empathy marketing, because I know for a fact a lot of developers are like basically need to make a decision. Either you need to repivot to a different career, because like if you want to have like a stable income, like just regular tech job is, unfortunately, as of right now, where the market is at, where the tech is at, is not it. Like it is not as reliable. And I know for so many people, it can be devastating, especially for people from minoritized communities, for people who are maybe immigrants, like they moved to this country, and the getting like professional licensure or like going back to school, maybe it's not an option. You go to boot camp, you become a web developer or QA or software engineer, and now this, and now it's not stable anymore. Maybe you switch careers from, like, you were a teacher, and for obvious reasons, you switch to web development, mobile development, or what have you, and now it's not there anymore. But now either you have to switch and pivot, maybe like go back to school and learn another
Hmm.
craft if you don't want to do entrepreneurship, if you don't want to do gigs, and even in other industries, right? Um, that's kind of like gig economy and gig this, like this nature of the job market is still prevalent. For example, for therapists, right? Yes, you can work for somebody else, and there's nothing wrong with working for somebody else. But if you want to get paid well, probably like private practice or combination private practice and working for somebody else, like, and you go, it's complicated, but like that's probably it. For other professionals, like that's gig economy too. So but if you at this point that, you know what, I don't want to go back to school or like pivot in another career yet again, like I know tech really well, I have amazing skills, um maybe lean into discomfort and learn the new
Hmm.
skills. So you can reach out to me. So, and like all the information is in in the description, in the comments below, where you can book a 15-minute consultation with me. And I reopen my program. It's Career Legacy 2.0. It's $3,000 for 6 months working in a group, connected with other businesses, and that it will be available until my birthday, September 15. So you have time until September 15, until my birthday, to make a decision and sign up and start making changes. All right. So, Donovan, we're kind of like wrapping up. So, what can you tell to our people who are watching and listening? Um, wh- what is your last advice to everybody? Like, what do you want to leave them with?
Yeah, I would just say again, I can't emphasize this enough, but just be open to learn. Things are changing, tech is changing, AI is here to stay. Just get comfortable with using some AI tools. You don't have to be an AI master, and it's okay to not always use AI, but use it where it's applicable in your industry because it's affecting all industries. And you don't have to be a complete AI master or just like fully on AI because truth be told, AI does make mistakes. It does need context, and you're gonna have to, when it comes to people and client facing, people want to talk to real people and connect with real people, not a robot, not a system that just gives you the answer that you think you want to hear. So just be conscious and vigilant about that. And I would just say, just, yeah, just be open to learn. If you're, again, if you're lost, talk to Eugene. He's a great help. He has helped me. If you, excuse me, want a little bit of advice when it comes to tech or navigation, you can talk to me. My DMs are always open. I love helping people in this space. And yeah, just keep moving forward and just be open to change and be versatile and be mutative.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with us. As always, connect with me, connect with Donovan. And don't let this economy, don't let those changes like bring you down. Like, yes, it is uncomfortable, but the obstacle is the way. The challenge is the way. And you either adapt and pivot in like as with businesses, because like one thing I want to emphasize before we fully close, business is not easy. Like I've been in
Mhm.
business since like fully in business since 2023. And back in the days, like back in Moscow, Russia, I ran my private practice as a psychotherapist, and I was freelancing as a sign language interpreter. And, like you will see ups and downs in business too. And one of the things and one of the skills that like we also going to talk about is your adaptability and resilience, how you not let hardships and waves and turns of the market of the life not bring you down, because like you can start your consulting business, you can start your personal branding, you can start your business, and you can do everything right, and it's still not working. What do you do then? And this is the skill. And this is the skill that you don't have to learn a lot, learn by yourself. It's always good to have somebody by your side, but nobody, not even like the most perfect business mentor, can teach you that. And I would like with the abundance of marketing, the abundance of business coaching, the abundance of people who are promoting, like helping you with their with your gig. I want to emphasize this that like yes, you in fact, as a business owner, you will experience hardships, you will experiencing ebbs and flows in business, and the most important skill is just to stay true to yourself, true to your vision, adapt and pivot like Donovan did. Like he started business with something else. He started with like with coaching, which nothing wrong with that. You can start your coaching business if maybe like this is an invitation for you to do your like coaching in one way or another. So, and with that, like, thank you